ABC, it's Greeno. A couple days back, I mentioned on a post about having some, crazy adventures out digging, like on Craigslist runs and just different stories. And Zach posted back saying, tell some stories, I guess. So, which I thought might be a cool idea. And if anybody else has any, goes out digging a lot and found themselves in some weird situations or just crazy situations, maybe share some of them. But I actually got looking back, and I actually have a couple videos where or one video in particular where I videoed what I found, and one video from actually at the place, just real quick. But I thought maybe I'd tell those two stories and show the videos real quick. Nothing major, just real quick videos of the finds. But the first one was probably the best find my buddy and I have come across so far. It happened January of 2011, last year. And it all started, I was out to eat with the wife and kids, and I don't know, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night or something, and my cell phone rings, and my buddy's like, found a bunch of metal, a guy contacted me on Craigslist, we need to go right now. I'm like, dude, I'm out eating, with the family. So he's like, it's metal, he's got a bunch, we gotta go. I'm like, I'm gonna call you back. So my wife, being the cool wife she is like, yeah, go ahead, we'll finish dinner and he can pick you up, which we're like 20 miles away from where we live. So we finish dinner, and by the time we're done, he's waiting in the parking lot, and say goodbye and hop in the car with him, and off we go. So we go to this guy's house, and it's like an apartment in this old house, kind of in a little shady part of town. And walk in, and there's just like DVDs and VHSs everywhere, and I noticed one rack of vinyl, or shelf of vinyl, that's just covered in dust, and looks like the cat has just had a heyday with it. Everything is just completely shredded. And the first thing I'm thinking is, here we go again, another one of these. I don't know what cats have against records, but they're pretty pissed off for some reason. But I turn around, and we're making the introductions, and he's like, well, they're over here, and he pulls up this rack, like an old rack with the vent-looking things where the records stand in, and the records are falling off as he's pulling them up, and there's like Slayer albums going everywhere and all this stuff, and I'm like, holy Christ. And my buddy looks at me, and we're just like ready to flip out, so we're like grabbing everything and helping him, and finally we get it up there on the coffee table. We start pulling the records off this thing and looking, and it's just amazing stuff. It's just a lot of obscure metal and hard to find stuff like the early Slayer, and there's a little bit of mix in there, like some Crocus and all that, but I can't even remember everything was in there. But we ended up going out of there with like I don't know, 150 to 200 albums, and probably 90% of them were all metal, and it was just a crazy deal. So as we're looking through them, he kind of goes out of the room, and my friend and I are just like trying to keep cool, looking at each other, ready to just bounce off the walls. And he actually had a camera with him that night, so we filmed some there, and that's what I'll add on to here in a second. And by the time we got home, finished that deal, that was an expensive night. We actually offered him pretty good money for all these records. They ended up being his buddies. His buddy wanted to sell them. We made an offer. He called his buddy, and he's like ecstatic with what we offered him. So everybody was happy, and we loaded them up and took off. We get back to my house like at midnight with all these records, and we got them all over the floor here in the music room. And what we do is just, whenever we get a find like this, we go one record at a time. You pick, I pick, you pick, I pick, and just to make it even. And it was just crazy. So I'll show you the video from that real quick. And I wish I could remember everything that was in there, but it was pretty amazing.
All the kids are ready to go. We got a rocket ship, baby. Don't you know we got a rocket ship, rocket ship.
video from probably our best find ever. And like I said, I wish I could remember everything that was in there. It was like Manila Road, original press, Ample Destruction by Jag Panzer, their first EP. It was insane. But so that's pretty much that one. And I got video from one other one, and it's just it's a real quick video, just kind of flipping through a box of what we ended up finding. But the story on this place was, it was I don't know, like 20, 30 miles from here. I can't remember which one of us found the guy on Craigslist. We set up the deal to go meet him and check him out. And this guy, man, he was a good old boy. He was it was just funny. We walked into his place, and I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock at night or something, and he'd been off work, I guess, for a few hours, and he was into the beer pretty good, and his wife was into the beer pretty good, and they wanted us to get into the beer pretty good, and we're like, no, we're just looking for records, man. So we get there, and the place is pretty crazy, you know, pretty well lived in, and he takes us into a side room that has a ton of records in it. There's probably like, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 records, and everything on the bottom level. Another pissed off cat evidently just tore them to shreds, man. Everything, probably like the first row up into the second row on the ground level. We found pretty cool stuff. I mean, it was nothing major, but it was definitely worth going. And the guy was a trip. We ended up going out into the garage. He had a ton of records out there, a bunch of country, and actually picked up some country off him, like old 60s stuff. And we were supposed to go back, but I don't think we ever did go back. We actually pulled out more stuff to check out. We never made it back there, but I just remember the place. Nicotine was just like dripping off the ceiling and everything else, man. I mean, they liked their beer and they liked their cigarettes. And they were cool people, but it was a trip. So I'll show you what we found from there. About it for this one. I just want to do them pretty quick and just kind of share a couple quick stories. Text message. I got a couple other ones. I got one about a hoarder that we met way up into Pennsylvania that was just insane. I don't have any video or anything from that, but might talk about that in another video. So, man, if anybody has any kind of stories about going out digging and ending up in a crazy situation, or just some of the stuff you come across, share them. I think it'd be kind of cool. I think Zach had a good idea, which, Zach, I'm guessing you're out a lot doing this by the amount of stuff you're showing, so you've got to have come across something pretty crazy, so share some stories. Alright, thanks everybody for watching.